Welcome back. The time is now 7:40. More than 680 San Diego properties are available for this year's online property tax auction. And here to explain how these homes get to the auction block and what to look for when bidding is Jim Bottrell, founder of Jim Bottrell Real Estate. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, 680 homes going to auction between March 13th to the 18th.
Right.
Why is this happening and how unusual is this number?
A lot of them are timeshares. So like almost 500 timeshares. I'm not a timeshare guy, so I don't know, but it's not that unusual. I mean, houses, if somebody doesn't pay their property taxes for 5 years, the county can sell the property. The legal term is subject to the power of sale, so they'll sell them.
Okay, and so why would somebody not pay their property taxes for 5 years? Are they just looking to give it up?
No, usually the person's deceased is what happens. Usually they've passed away. There's no heirs. Either they have heirs and the heirs don't want to pay it, or there are no heirs and the property sits vacant for about 5 years. It does tend to end up rotting. They're not gems in most cases. I've been to these auctions. I've looked at them. The houses are in pretty bad shape. Oftentimes there's been squatters inside them. Maybe, what's really weird is how often it is the heirs that are the squatters, but when somebody's not paying on a house, they're not taking care of it. So these houses tend to be in pretty rough shape.
Okay, and do the lenders oftentimes pay the taxes? And
yeah, if there's a loan on a house, like me, I have a loan, you have a loan. When you have a loan on a house, part of your mortgage payment, actually the lender collects that. It's called impound account. And they collect it. You see it on your statement, it says escrow.
Right.
All right. The lenders pay the property taxes. They pay the fire insurance policy for you too, because the house is the asset, the collateral for their loan. So they'll pay it. Even what's interesting is even if somebody stops paying on their mortgage, if there's a loan on that house, that lender will continue to pay the property taxes and the insurance policy out of hide. Now in these cases, they didn't have a loan. There's nobody backstopping it.
Right. So then there's a set date for them to go to auction. Now we have March 13th through the 18th.
Right.
How do you go about putting a bid if you want to come and scoop up one of these homes?
Well, I probably, first of all, recommend you don't. But I've been to these auctions. It's very entertaining. The people watching is great. You can just go online. They're open to the public. You can go online. You can register. I think you pay a $35 fee if you want to make a bid, and then you've got to have a cashier's check for $1,000 you put in there if you want to do it. But there's a lot to know about it. It's kind of a scary process. So the advice that I'd have for people that are thinking about doing it, first of all, just understand you're probably not going to get a deal. Right? These houses are in very, very bad shape.
Well,
right?
How do they select the starting bid?
I have no idea, but it's an auction. They start at low, just like all auctions.
Yeah.
They'll start at low.
And I know sometimes you can drive around the property. You can look at these properties because you do get a list beforehand with addresses, so you can go and look at them. But you're not gonna be able to go inside these homes.
Right.
Oftentimes, you're not going to be able to get a home inspection. Oftentimes, but you can
not
look.
Not ever.
Well, I mean, you could bring someone with you maybe to look around the outside of the home, see if there's anything major going on there. But this is a serious commitment. It is possible to get a deal, right?
It is possible. So it's been my experience where, back a long time ago, I was a licensed realtor, but I was a contractor and I flipped houses for a living. So I actually looked into this once. And the part that was really surprising is I had a couple houses that I was looking at. I drove around them, but I couldn't go inside because there's, it's locked up, or there's, still who knows living inside there. But they're not going to let you come inside do your inspection. So you have to figure out, what's the worst case scenario? What if there is no kitchen, like nothing, right? What if there are no bathrooms, nothing? So you have to then figure out, what's the max I could pay for this house, assuming the worst on the inside? And a piece of advice I have for people is write that number down on a piece of paper and don't let the excitement of the auction or your emotions allow you to go $1 over that number. They're not going to let you do that. Another thing is it's all buyer beware. Right? So when you buy a house through a traditional real estate process, there's so many protections for a buyer in there. You have contingencies, you have inspections, you have seller disclosures. The seller has to tell you everything about this house. They get a stack of papers listed with questions. They have to answer them all, and you get, as the buyer, you get that ahead of time to decide whether or not you want to move forward with the house. When you buy at auction, there's none of that. Yeah. You get nothing. There's no protections at all.
Yeah, really have to do your homework. I'm just curious, the 680, is that super unusual? Is that higher?
It's a little higher than usual, but I think it's mostly timeshares. I think 520 were timeshares.
Timeshares where?
Yeah, I know, and I'm not a timeshare guy. The only thing I know about timeshares is all these commercials I see about how to get out of timeshares, and I guess not paying the property tax is one way to get out of it. So there's a lot of them that are land also.
Okay.
All right, and then there's, they call them unimproved, which is land, and they have improved structures, which has a house on it. There's really not that many of those. And, think about the number of people who move on in this world, move off this world, pass away, that don't have any heirs, and then that house just sits there, and there's no loan on it, so there's nobody doing anything, and it sits there for 5 years before the county comes in and does what they do. So
buyer beware. I think
buyer beware.
I think that's a good piece of advice. Jim Bottrell, thank you so much.
Thanks
Appreciate the time.
If you enjoyed this video and you want to watch more videos like it, be sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date in the latest real estate trends and developments. I'm Jim Bottrell, the Jim Bottrell Real Estate Team. I'll see you next time.